a 2-year-old. I don't know what in the world could justify a 2-year-old having, half of his body burned with skin coming off.
Isolated, and I don't know why you're making those faces to me, Judge. You can.
I'm not making. First of all, stop. One, I'm not making any faces. Number two, I'm looking at you and listening to your argument, counsel.
I noted facial expressions, Judge.
Well, your notation is incorrect. You may continue with your argument.
Today we're inside Judge Boyd's courtroom, and this case is pure chaos from the start. Tension fills the room, emotions are running high, and it feels like everyone is holding their breath. The defendant sitting at the table is facing child abuse charges after his child was discovered with skin literally burned off by boiling water. The details are horrifying. The explanations are hard to believe. And the atmosphere in this courtroom feels like it could explode at any second. The defense is scrambling for answers, the prosecution is locked in, and the judge looks moments away from running out of patience. What unfolds next is a mix of heartbreak, disbelief, and courtroom disorder that forces you to ask, was this a tragic accident or something far more disturbing? Let's get into it.
But why were you late?
Oh, we wasn't late. We were outside talking.
All right. So late is when you're not in the courtroom.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Plus, he was driving in from
Odessa
this morning.
All right. So you entered a plea bargain agreement on July 12th.
Yes, ma'am.
And applied for deferred adjudication. According to the plea bargain agreement, punishments be assessed at a cap of 10 years in the prison. There's a $1,500 fine. The state opposes your application. There's an affirmative finding of family violence, and there are no contact with Caden Haggis. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections to the PSI report state?
No, Your Honor.
Defense?
No objections, Your Honor.
All right. State, do you have any witnesses?
No witnesses, just argument, Judge.
Defense, any witnesses?
Yes, please, Judge. Call Audrey Fuller.
All right. Audrey Fuller. All right. State your name for the record.
Audrey Fuller.
All right. Defense.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Fuller, how are you related to Zachary Prince?
I'm his mother.
And you could face forward so that
Okay.
she can hear you better.
I'm his mother.
I heard we spoke before court this morning, correct?
Yes.
And you referred to Zachary by another name?
Devontae, that's his middle name.
Okay, so if you talk about a Devontae here, you mean Zach,
Yes.
Zach Prince. How are you employed, Ms. Fuller?
I'm a 100% disabled veteran. I don't work.
So you served in the military?
Yes.
And I think that's reflected in the pre-sentence report. During Zach's childhood and growing up, you were in the military?
Yes.
What branch?
Army.
And that was throughout the time that Zach lived with you as a child and before he moved out?
Yes, sir.
How was Zachary as a child?
He was a sweet, happy child. He was very loving. He is very loving.
And what about in his older years, like high school years and teenage years?
He didn't change. He's always been a sweet kid. I always loved him, very protective.
Any behavioral issues with him?
No,
Was he respectful with you?
he's always been respectful with me.
Any issues in high school, getting into trouble or anything like that?
No.
You have, you know what he's charged with and what he pled to in this case.
Yes, sir.
What are your feelings about that you would like the judge to know?
I don't know.
Well, I'd like to ask the question,
Okay.
answer the questions first.
Well, with my wholeheartedly, I believe that my son did not do this.
And by not doing it, you know the facts of where the
That
baby
the
was.
baby, yes.
Yeah, you have to let me finish before you speak because she's taking everything down. That he left the child in the bathtub and the child was burned with water, correct?
Yes, sir.
But you know he did that. So at the very minimum, he was neglectful for not
Yes.
keeping an eye on the child after he left it in the bathtub,
Yes.
right? How many children does Zachary have?
Yeah.
And what are their ages? Do you know?
Yes. 11, 10, 7, 6, 4.
Does he spend much time with his children?
He works out of town, but whenever he's home, he always gives them. He had them this weekend at my house.
And through the years, has he spent a lot of time with his children in your presence?
Yes.
What kind of father is he with his children?
He's a very loving father. He loves his kids and they love him also.
Have you ever seen him lose his temper with the kids?
I've never seen him ever get upset with kids.
have you ever seen him do anything to discipline them, reprimand them, that you thought maybe was over the line in how he did it?
No, he's never done anything.
Have you ever seen him physical with the kids
No, not ever, not one.
or neglectful with the kids? How about aside from the kids? Have you ever seen him violent or physical?
Never in my presence.
This man doesn't start off strong at all. He shows up late to court while facing a child abuse charge, about the worst first impression you could make. The judge is clearly not in the mood for excuses. And honestly, who would be? This isn't a minor mistake. A child suffered severe burns. The defense then pulls a classic move, bringing in the defendant's mother, hoping her testimony will soften the blow. And sure, on a human level, it makes sense. She's going to protect her son no matter what. But legally, it barely moves a needle. Saying someone is a good person doesn't erase medical evidence. She's emotional, defensive, and clearly struggling to accept what's being said in court. But feelings don't outweigh facts. So what do you think? Did a testimony help a defense at all? Or did it just remind everyone how serious the situation really is? Because judging by the look on Judge Boyd's face, she's not buying it.
Zachary would never intentionally hurt any child ever. Although he had to plead, it was solely based off of his chance of proving his innocence, which have been extremely slim. I do believe that he is guilty of one thing, that is neglect. He never should have left the child in the bathroom alone. Zachary has felt extreme remorse for his actions ever since the incident. I'm here to plead to the court to grant mercy on my child during the sentencing phase. He is a great, loving, and protective parent of his 5 children who all need him in their lives. They all love their father very much. It would be hard on them. Physically, I haven't seen anything. I just know.
Okay. So is it fair to say you haven't reviewed any offense reports or
No.
police reports?
No,
You haven't reviewed any of the medical history?
no,
You haven't reviewed any of the photographs?
yes,
So despite not reviewing any of that, you still believe that your son is innocent?
yes,
Do you realize that in the stipulations that a medical professional, a doctor, said that the pattern of the burn in this case has clear lines of demarcation and no splashing, which means that it was an intentional submersion or immersion.
Judge,
You
I'll
understand that?
object to the form of the question.
All right, just for a moment. State, could you repeat your question,
Yes.
please?
So there's a medical report in there from a doctor who says that the clear lines of demarcation and the lack of evidence of splashing in this case shows that this appears to be a immersion, meaning putting somebody in water. Did you know that?
no.
Okay.
So you're saying that they're saying that he held him underwater?
That's what it clearly appears to be. Were you aware of that?
No.
Because according to your son's statement, he says that the child's in there and then the water's flowing over him, but there is no burns on this child's chest.
Judge, I would object. She's already said she doesn't have knowledge of that. She had not reviewed the reports or the evidence. It's just argumentative.
All right, that'll be overruled.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't know. I don't know.
Does that change your mind about whether you know that he's innocent about this?
I still, yeah, it doesn't change my mind.
Okay. So regardless of what you hear, you know that your son's innocent.
Yes, because his way I know him, that Devontae, he's never hurt a child ever. I've never seen him hurt. We have 50 kids in our family, young kids, and he always takes care of these kids. He's never seen him. I've never ever seen him do anything out of line, touch them, hit them, yell at them, anything. And he's 30, and if we have them all ages, and he's never done this. So for him to do something like this, that's not a character. I can't believe that.
Okay. Were you aware that he's a suspect in another injury to a child case in
Yeah.
Kilgore?
I'm aware of that. That's my grandson.
Okay.
And when my grandson got to my house, he had those marks on him before he even, whoever dropped, it wasn't, mom didn't drop him off. Someone else dropped him off at my mother's house, and my mother noticed him, and my mother told me. And then my mom told him that he had marks on him. And they were the same marks that the doctor saw. So
Okay.
he had those injuries previously.
What about the head injuries in that case?
I don't know what head injury you're talking about.
Okay. So maybe we're just talking about a different case then.
There's just one case.
Okay. So you know his full criminal history?
He's one.
Okay. So are you aware that he has any other pending cases?
No, not that maybe if you tell me what they are.
Well, I want to know what you have. What you know. Tell me what you know about the other pending cases.
I know that he had one where he was at a bar with his coworkers, and the coworker had a gun, and then the coworker was being disruptive with the person who was arrested because he was in a bar with a gun. And then when my son walked over there, him and another guy, and they asked what's going on. Then because the officer was in plain clothes. And then they saw that he had a gun. Then they backed off. They said, "Oh, okay, he's a cop." And then they said they just want to know what was going on. And then they said that he had a gun.
Okay. So are you aware that he has a pending aggravated assault in Midland County?
No.
That's what Ms. Judge.
That the case that you just described about being in the bar, is that the pending case?
Yes.
And you mentioned that the state asked you whether you thought Zach was innocent, but in your statement you wrote that he was neglectful at a minimum.
Yes. For leaving the child in there because the child turned the water on.
That's a bit different from being innocent. Being
Yes,
neglectful.
he's guilty. He's guilty of that.
Thank you. Pass the notes.
I have no further questions.
Now,
This is where the story really starts to fall apart. The defense keeps insisting the child was simply left alone in the bathtub. But how do you forget something like that, especially when you have 5 kids? And even if it was an accident, which is a huge stretch, you'd expect panic, not silence. The prosecution's version is far darker. They allege the child was held down in scalding hot water, and the medical report backs it up. Those injuries show prolonged exposure, not a quick splash. Medical evidence doesn't lie. When that report is mentioned, you can actually see the mother's face collapse, like she's hearing the full truth for the first time. And then there are the defendant's prior incidents. Those completely destroy his credibility. The image of a caring father the defense tried to paint suddenly looks like a bad courtroom sketch. The prosecution dismantles the defense piece by piece, and now it's emotion versus hard medical facts. And in court, facts always win.so. What do you think? Did he really forget his child in the tub? Or was this an attempt to cover up something far worse? Because no matter how you look at it, this story doesn't add up.